I appreciate you doing business with Lumenary Pro. What was your experience with Lumenary Pro?
Well, the process was exactly like I expected. It was nice to know that everything was custom built so that the installation would go off without a hitch. It was nice to know that when the crew came out, they came out one day, as I was able to meet them, discuss where the control box would be mounted in the garage, kind of work with them on, they were, as you had indicated up front, they went out of their way to make sure it was a very discreet installation. There's just nothing exposed. And that's really what we had hoped for. And as I think I had mentioned to you, I had the foresight to actually go and power wash the eaves underneath and the soffits before the installation, which frankly was something I probably should have done a long time ago. But the fact that the color, I was impressed when originally you had said that the track would be color matched. Boy, it was color matched exactly right. It was incredible. Even though this was white soffits that had aged over time and weren't exactly white, but they blend in beautifully. So, and I think the frequency of lights. I've seen some other permanent lighting around where I don't know what the standard distance is with maybe some other companies, but it seems like the number of lights is key to creating the lighting effect.
100%. The 9-inch spacing does make a huge difference. A lot of people don't know that, but when they do the 6-inch spacing or the 12-inch spacing, the 9-inch really sets it right. And then also the way we build our LEDs, the color clarity that you noticed, that's unique to us because we're using 3 LEDs that are RGB-Ws. They're high intensity, low energy LEDs that are UL listed on the fuses and the LEDs, and they're all in a clear flat housing that does a really good job of that.
100% agree with that statement, that makes a difference. I'm a kind of a lighting nerd. I've been a photographer my whole life. I'm very sensitive to how lighting looks and just the ambiance of things and the variety of not only the pre-programmed options in the presets, but the ability to really go in and fine-tune lighting to really specific kind of colors if so desired. And I'll have some fun playing with that at some point. I've been extremely busy work-wise since they went up here the last month, but I'm looking forward to when I have a little bit more margin in my life to be able to play around with that a little bit more. Yeah, I really have to tune my Viking colors perfectly for football.
LED Christmas lights from Lumenary Pro set to Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, so you got to tune those colors perfectly. When you have a little more time, you're going to mess with the Viking colors to tune it exactly how you like it, right? But from that perspective, you really do like the fact that you have the ability to do that, right? And the fact that all 4 leagues are pre-programmed, and the fact that the color clarity with the ease of use, right? You can at least change it pretty easily from your perspective, right?
Correct. Yeah, and I find the app easy to work with. I'm looking forward to learning it a little bit more, to tweak it a little bit more. I haven't gotten into playing with any of the motion type stuff at all, other than some of the presets. Yeah, I've kind of watched a couple of like the Christmas presets, although this time of the year you stand out there at that time of night and the mosquitoes chase you in pretty fast, unfortunately, sometimes when you're screwing around with it. But it's been interesting to see the motion that the lights can create.
The motion that the lights create. So as far as having a quality permanent lighting system, you would definitely choose Lumenary Pro or like those $500 sticky tape lights you got online, right?
Absolutely. And I was motivated. I enjoy kind of putting lights up at holiday times, Christmas, and the peak above the garage. I've never put lights up above the peak above our bedroom over. That's just way too high to be up.
Yeah.
The fact that I never have to deal with that is worth the price of admission right there. And to know that come Christmas time, now not only will I have Christmas lights, but I can have a variety of Christmas lights. And with the snow will really brighten up the scene, right?
Oh yeah. So
once the grandkids realize that I have an app, I'm sure they're going to want to be changing it all the time. So
yeah, they're going to want to change it all the time, and you can give them guest access, right? If you ever, you can give them access to play with it whenever you want, right? When they're around. Actually, they can download the app and play with it, Barry. So
I don't know if we'll go that far, but
You said it was worth the price of admission just to not have to worry about getting on a ladder anymore, not have to think about that anymore, not have to pay somebody to come out and do it, and to have things lit up that you had never really lit up much before, like the peaks, just because
correct,
how high they were on your house, right?
correct, correct. And the fact that putting lights up is always sort of an adventure in terms of how they're secured, how they're attached. Some clips work better than others. They look great. Then a big snow or ice storm comes and part of them kind of dangle down and you're dinking around with that. So it's, yeah, just have that permanent lighting. And I mean, I've enjoyed putting, again, the ambient look is important.
So the ambient look, the nice white lighting actually was nice that we had that RGB-W and you could do different shading of the white. You did really enjoy that.
Well, and again, back to being a photographer and understanding white balance and Kelvin temperatures, right?
Yeah.
So to have it on the cooler side or the warmer side, I also like the fact that it isn't just a night light setting, but there's multiple ways you can, 3 on, 2 off, all those different sort of preset options. And the fact that if I really wanted to, I could customize it obviously even more, but
You could.
and it's a very subdued look. I like that. It's just nice. It washes light over the entire front of the home, and that's great. And as I mentioned to you, we have outdoor canister, lights,
Yeah.
4 of them, and sometimes I leave them on, and sometimes I leave them off. It kind of depends on the
Yep.
look.
Depends on the look you want to do. And I really like that you said your wife felt the installation crew that we professionally trained. They
Yep.
were good guys. They were cordial guys. They were prompt. They were good while they were there,
Right.
which is nice. It's like we do train professional people who have been in the contract space. That's what you get. You know what I mean? When they come to your house.
Yep. No, I had 100%. And again, just the quality of the installation. Just there are no exposed wires. Everything is connected. There's nothing janky about it. It's just top shelf, first class. That's what I expected. And when I think of people in the contracting and the labor space and all of those things, there's a difference when professionals do the job versus the do-it-yourselfers. Not that there aren't some things in life we can do ourselves, but the
Yeah.
reality is more often than not, the professionals just have a funny way of doing it better, faster, and and many times probably cheaper because
Yeah.
sometimes the do-it-yourselfers do it wrong enough times that, and if you're buying cheap lighting systems, maybe you have to replace cheap lighting systems. So
Yeah, exactly. And I love how you mentioned that because we don't we don't like do that with our systems. You can't DIY our system.
right.
We professionally install our systems with our own installers who've been trained
Yep.
because we do consider our system be top shelf when it's put up. It's not like a low grade product. It's a nice quality product machine. And look, lastly here, we really value your business. I really appreciate that you trusted Luminary Pro and got on a Zoom with us and did business with us, not in person, right? Um, and at least that process was rather convenient and simple because we were able to do it online. But
Yep.
would you recommend if somebody was on a call right now, look, would you recommend for them to have a system like this? They're tired of getting on the ladder, they're tired of paying somebody, and they want a quality system that's gonna be there. Would you recommend Luminary Pro?
I would, without hesitation, recommend Lumenary Pro. And I would just encourage people to, before you need to make any decision with any kind of a system like this, especially, to at least go through that virtual walkthrough, which was very helpful to just kind of have a mock up sort of
Yep.
what you might expect. That was really, really great. It's funny because you think of a lot of home improvement things, there are very few things you could probably engage a contractor with in a virtual space like that. I mean, if you're going to get new windows, probably going to need somebody to come out and bring you the samples so you can see them and get a better feel. But because this is such a front facing, in our case, of
It
the
is.
home,
It is.
very visual kind of experience, that was very helpful because I really didn't know for sure what this might look like. I had a pretty good idea, but that was very helpful. So sure, I would recommend the process and at least know that you're entrusting professionals at a high level and that there are many things that, again, people can do themselves. And I think of our our deck that we had replaced. Our first deck was done by somebody who kind of did them on the side, and it was inexpensive, and it got us a deck that we didn't have and probably couldn't have afforded much more at the time. And after far too many years and it in being in disrepair, we hired a deck professional come in and replace that deck, and the quality difference was just night and day.
It was night and day.
This would be the same example. I think that if you tried to go to the local, big box store or, home improvement store and buy a set of LED lights and strips and start drilling and sticking and who knows what, you'd probably have lights in your home in a few days, but I'm not sure that you could feel like that was going to be a long-term investment that made sense.
Barry, thank you for the testimonial, and we look forward to supporting you, my friend, and a lot of people's lives. Thanks.